Do you have a hard time throwing things out? Are you a very big collector and you collect a lot of things, but you don't get rid of a lot of things? We're going to be talking all about that. Stay tuned. That's what's up next. Hi, my name is Natasha Daniels. I'm a child therapist and I make videos for kids with anxiety or OCD. I want to talk to you today about something that's really common with both those issues, and that is something called hoarding. So hoarding is a very big fancy word for when you like stuff, but you don't like to get rid of your stuff. And for some reason, that's very common with kids who have anxiety or OCD. We like stuff. And the idea of getting rid of our stuff or giving our stuff away can be very anxiety producing. And it's called hoarding. It's called hoarding when it's an actual problem that you can't control. So I'm going to talk to you about what hoarding is and how to fix it before it gets out of control. Now, lots of kids like to keep stuff. You like your toys, and when you're little, you might like to collect rocks or leaves or things from nature. That's very normal and typical. But it becomes a hoarding issue when you're collecting so much stuff, you don't know where to put anything, and some of the stuff other people think might be trash. So you know you have a hoarding issue when you're collecting nonstop and your stuff is kind of everywhere. You have drawers full of treasures. You have little containers full of treasures. You have treasures under your bed. You have treasures in your backpack. You are constantly picking up things and collecting things. Or you have a really hard time throwing things away. So maybe you have some old drawings that you do, or maybe you have a hard time throwing out all your school projects, or maybe you have a hard time throwing away anything you create. And over time, as you get older and older, you can be full of stuff that you can't throw away. A lot of times kids won't see hoarding as an issue because they're young. And so when you're little and you're saving everything, you can't throw out that baby toy that you had from 4 years ago, or you can't throw out that really cool art project that you did 2 years ago. It doesn't seem like a big deal because maybe you're only 8, or maybe you're only 15, or maybe you're only 17. So you don't have a lot of stuff that you've accrued, you've collected. But the problem is, what is it going to look like when you're 20? What is it going to look like when you're 40? What is it going to look like when you're 50? Because as you get older, you save more and more stuff. And as you get older, you have more and more money to spend on more and more stuff. And it's a vicious cycle. So people hoard for a few reasons. I'm going to go into them. These are some common hoarding thoughts. I have special memories attached to these things. I don't want to forget those memories, so I don't want to lose these things. What if I need those things? Like, I might need that later, so I'm going to save it just in case. I don't want to hurt these things' feelings. I mean, it's not fair to them to just throw it in the trash. Like, what if somebody needs it? Or what if it feels sad that I'm getting rid of it? People hoard for all sorts of reasons, but those are the 3 most common ones. You're afraid that there's memories that you're going to forget if you don't have that item. Some people worry that they might need that stuff, and so they save it just in case. And some kids, not all kids, definitely not all kids, but some kids feel like they're actually going to hurt the item's feelings. They kind of personify it. Personify means they make it kind of like a human, and so they're afraid they're going to upset the things. Now, most hoarders are in the first 2 categories, and sometimes people have both those feelings. They're worried that they might need it, and they're worried that they might forget the memory attached to it. But no matter what the issue is with you and why you're hoarding, you want to do something about it, because hoarding is not that big of an issue when you're little, but the problem starts when you're little. And the big issues start to develop when you're older. The good news, though, is you can prevent that from happening, because right now it's just starting. So a couple of tips. 1, you want to recognize you have a hoarding problem. So stop yelling at everybody and start thinking about how you can fix this issue. Step 2 is you want to control it. And so sometimes we can't control it and we don't know how to control it. So I suggest that you get a box, and it depends on how bad your hoarding is, how big you want your box. But that's your box. That is your treasure box. and you can put whatever you want in that box. But once the box is full, you have to take something out so that you can make space to put something in. And that's a great way to control your treasures and make sure that you don't get out of control. If you need a few boxes to start with, do a few boxes, and then over time, narrow it down to a box that's like pretty small so that you can control it. Step 3 is if you're worried about memories, you can digitally hoard. Digitally hoarding is okay because you can save millions and millions of images on a computer, and it's not taking up any space and it's not harming anyone. And ironically, people worry they're going to forget the memories, but they don't. But having a picture of the item will help you feel relaxed and confident that the memory is still going to be there. So if you have items and you're worried mainly about forgetting the memory that's attached to the item, or it was such a cool project and you worked so hard at it, it doesn't seem fair to throw it away, then start to do a photo memory album. Take pictures of the things that you love, and you can hoard digitally. Lastly, if you're one of those people who's worried about, throwing something away because it seems wasteful, or you're worried that it's going to hurt the thing's feelings, or you want it to go to someone who's going to treat it just as good and just as well as you did, then donation is a really good option for people who have those fears because you're going to be giving it away to someone who needs it. So donate. Donate to Goodwill or donate to any charity that's in your neighborhood and feel good that you're giving away your stuff and it's actually going to help other people. I know that you may not see that hoarding is an issue right now, but I want you to see what hoarding can look like if you get older. Hoarding can get out of control. It can be unhealthy, it can ruin your home environment, and it can push other people away. So the good news is you're young. So I hope that you can use some of the tips that I talked about and kind of control your hoarding. All right, well, I hope you find the sparkle in everything you do, and I will talk to you next Thursday. Take care.